Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Neha Hamilton, and we are studying sports marketing management. And I think in the last class, we were studying market segmentation. So, let me take you to the slides where we left in the last class. We have studied the basic concept of segmentation, and we have studied this SPP strategy, which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. After that, we have understood meaning of market segmentation. We have studied definition of market segmentation. We have studied how segmentation, we make segments, okay, different segmentation types. This also we have studied. Now we were here on this slide and we were studying market, different types of market segmentation, right? So here are the different types of market segmentation that we have studied. The first is called as demographic segmentation, then geographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, and behavioral segmentation. Okay, so whenever we segment the market on the basis of population characteristics, for example, age, gender, income, marital status, so that is called as demographic segmentation. Whenever we segment the market on the basis of geographical regions, for example, local, regional, national, international, so that is called as geographical segmentation. Then we have behavioral segmentation, benefits, volume, purchase, loyalty, that is called as behavioral segmentation. Then we have psychographic segmentation, life cycle, social class, personalities, value. This is called as your psychographic segmentation. Now let us understand all these points one by one. The first is called as demographic segmentation. As the name suggests, demographic. Demographic means something which is related to population. That is called as demographic segmentation. So in demographic segment, market is divided into groups on the basis of variables such as religion, community, language, age, stage in family life cycle, gender, marital status, family size, occupation, educational level, social status of the customer, etc. See, whenever we are marketing a product to the customer, we should have a clear identification of the target market. We should know that how our customer will look like, what the customer is going through in daily life, what are his restrictions, what are his benefit points. All the things we should be clear in our mind, right? That's why I am calling it demographic segmentation, right? In demographic segmentation, market is divided into groups on the basis of variables such as religion, community, language. So, you know, whenever you ask a customer, and specifically when you talk about India as a country, we have a lot of diversity. Diversity when it comes to languages, when it comes to ethnicity, when it comes to family size. When you go to urban cities, there are nuclear families. When you go to rural cities, you have joint families. Uh, we were studying that in Northeast, there's the biggest family having like 38 wives and how I don't know how many 106 children. So we have families like this in India also, right? We have stages in life cycle. All of the people are dealing with different kind of anxieties because they are at different part of their life cycle. For example, somebody is getting married, somebody is newly married, somebody is in the middle of is in the middle of the 40s, and somebody is going to retire in some time. Somebody has got a new job. So these kind of life stages also define the purchase behavior of a particular customer, right? When we talk about religion, we have Christianity, we have Hinduism, and we have Sikhism, and we have a Muslim community also. So we have different kind of religions also, right? And different religion of people, they consume different kind of products. For example, when we talk about Hindus, they do not consume beef, they do not consume pork, right? When we talk about Muslims, they do not consume pork. So when we talk about Hindus, they are pure vegetarians. They do not consume anything non-vegetarian like meat or chicken products, right? We have vegans also. That is a new class of customers. So these vegans are the people who are not consuming anything non-vegetarian. They are strictly, uh, uh, you know, uh, they are strictly adhering to the norms of their community. They do not even consume eggs, right? So if you're if you are a person who belongs to a different religion, then also your choice is going to differ when it comes to the type of products, right? If you are in that part of a life cycle when you are getting married, the method is completely different in a Hindu marriage, in a Christian marriage, in a Muslim marriage. The kind of clothes, the kind of ceremonies that are happening is completely different. And the kind of ceremonies actually determine the kind of product that you're going to take. So that's why demographic segmentation is very important. Also educational level. For example, a person who is not educated is not going to buy a laptop. What is of need for his he do not need a laptop, right? But a person who is educated or a person who is doing an MBA, they definitely want a laptop. So this is how educational level impacts, right? For example, dictionary, for example, play school books, right? If a small children, if you have a small children who is going to a play school, you will be needing play school books, right? So it depends on the occupation also, on the income also, the kind of products that you're using. So if you are dividing the population on the basis of this demographic characteristics, you should be clear on what is your target market, on what basis are you dividing the market. So these are the variables in demographic segmentation. We have, for example, we have babies, we have kids, we have teens, we have youth. So on we are dividing the market on the basis of age. Here you can see an example. We It is a ready-made garment manufacturing company, and they have divided on the basis of age. For example, this infant or toddler that you can see, he loves toys, so we are making toys for them, and similar kind of clothes. For example, diaper clothes, small, easy, comfortable clothes, or maybe woolen clothes. When you talk about a kid, yeah, right, different kind of toys, different kind of cloth requirements are there. When you talk about adolescent, uh, they are interested in playing some kind of a football or basketball. He's taking a basketball with him, so he's interested in playing basketball. Then we have people who are married and the people who are very old aged, right? They have different kind of uh, requirements as products. Now this is again a part of segmentation, demographic segmentation. When we talk about, it is about region. Now when I talk about region, we have metro cities. Uh, I think this is a photograph of uh, Delhi where metro started. So here you can see you have some urban cities, then you have some suburban cities, and then you have rural cities. So the kind of people who are living in these kind of cities, they will have different kind of requirements, right? For example, the people who are living in metro city, right? They may be opting for a lot of different kind of tiffin services because they do not get time because they spend a lot of time in traveling from one place to another, so they actually do not get time to do a particular thing, to complete a particular uh, this homemaking, this lunch making thing. So they opt for different services. And most of the people who have recently started working, they do not have a family with them because in metro cities the accommodations are very costly. So people are living alone, so they are looking for tiffin services, right? So the kind of products that they use are different. When we talk about urban cities are commercialized cities, but there the requirement of people are changed. The kind of product that they will uh, prefer will be different. When we talk about suburban cities in like in Rajasthan, we have like Ajmer, we have Jodhpur, we have uh, these kind of cities are called as suburban cities, right? Then finally we have like rural cities. Now, rural cities are the cities which are like remote areas, like village cities. So, the kind of products which are needed for these cities, these kind of rural areas will be different, right? So, it depends on the kind of the region where you are living, on the kind of things that you are selling to the customer. Okay. So, after studying the region part, we have to understand the gender part. For whom are you producing a particular product? For example, here we can see two-wheeler is there which is being marketed for females as well and for males as well. Females they are producing Hero Book, and Hero Book are like a girlish model, red color of scooter is there, and the design is a bit different, and you can see the kind of two-wheeler which is designed for men. They want to they they like their bike to be sporty, and the color choice is different, and the kind of helmet which is given with them is different. So males and females, they think differently. They have different kind of choices when it comes to buying products. They have different kind of color choices. They have different kind of product preferences and all these things. So they are basically different. Then we are going to talk about income or purchasing capacity. Okay. So now what is this income and purchasing capacity? Let's talk about this. Buyer preferred a price range, right? So for example, HCL identified the below 10,000 per month income group suggesting an strong segment in home PCs by offering PCs at a low price of 12,990. The company found its growth segment through this segment. HCL has come to enjoy a 14.5% of uh, market share in home PCs. So let's talk about the buying capacity of the customers, right? The purchase capacity of the customers. So we can say that the people who are low income groups, they will prefer, because the people who are low income groups, and if they are literate and if they are working, they want a laptop in lower prices, right? If you will go for a Toshiba or a Lenovo laptop or an Apple laptop, you are going to end up spending lakhs of rupees. But if you are preferring a smaller version of a laptop, a cheaper version of a laptop, maybe HCL is the best choice. So the target market for HCL customers are the people who are low income group customers who want a laptop to fulfill their requirement but do not have that much of money to give for a laptop, right? So those requirements are being fulfilled by HCL. So it is again a good example. So this is again an example of a car company, and that car company we have Tata Nano, we have Suzuki SX4, and we have a Audi, right? So this Audi is generally being sent in a premium pricing. It's a high-end car. It is specifically uh, designed for high-end customer. And I've heard that BMW specifically engineer their cars, design their cars on the basis of they customize their cars on the basis of preferences of their customers. So I and you, as simple people, as middle class people, we cannot, afford Audi or BMW or things like that, right? We are middle class people, so we maybe choose Tata Nano or a Maruti or a Honda or a Hyundai, right? The price of which are ranging between 5 lakhs to 15 lakhs. But the people who can spend up to 50 lakhs or 75 lakhs, these are the people who have a high position in society, have these are the people who are high income group, right? So this is definitely a car, this is definitely an example of demographic variable, which is a income, right? So we are dividing the market on the basis of income. Now we have geographical segmentation. Geographically, markets can be segmented on the basis of climate zone, region, countries, nations, states, district, and urban or rural area. Uh, See, whenever we talk about geographical segmentation, we are talking about different kind of regions. Different kind of regions have different climatic conditions. Different climatic conditions favor for different kind of products. For example, when you talk about Rajasthan, it is a it is a state with, you know, highest temperature going up to 48 degrees Celsius, 49 degrees Celsius in summers. So the people will be, and that too 8 months in a year. Right? 8 months in a year, we have very high temperature, average about, 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. So people who are living in Rajasthan, they will favor a air conditioner or a cooler or things like that. They will prefer products like that, or maybe cold beverages, things like that. They will prefer more. Okay, and the people who are living in the hilly areas where the average temperature is very less, for example in Jammu and Kashmir and in Himachal Pradesh or in some parts of the Punjab, people are not having that much of temperature, so they will favor different kind of products. They will take maybe woolen clothes or maybe hot uh, products, that can save themselves from the cold. So it depends on the kind of region from where you belong to, right? If you are living in Delhi or if you are living in a metro city where the air is very much polluted, products like air purifiers are in trend. So people are keeping air purifiers in their offices and people are keeping air purifiers at their homes. The fairness creams which are specifically designed for polluted skin, they are most selling products in these kind of cities like Delhi, where the pollution level is very high, right? So that is basically geographical segmentation, where you are segmenting the market on the basis of regions. And these regions have different kind of geographical conditions and also have different kind of climatic conditions as well. Now, let's talk about psychographic segmentation. Okay, market can be segmented on the basis of psychological elements like psyche and personality traits like self-concept, lifestyle, attitude, value system. It facilitates the group of consumers in such a manner that group shares a common buying behavior. So, when I talk about psychological segmentation, psychographic segmentation, so I am segmenting the market on the basis of what my customer is thinking, right? What kind of thought process my customer has. So, what kind of lifestyle he is living, what kind of attitude he is having, what kind of value system he carries, philosophies of his life he carries with him. So, these are the example of psychographic segmentation. It facilitates grouping of customers in such a manner that a group shares a common buying behavior, right? So that is called as psychographic segmentation. Let us understand in detail what psychographic variables are there through which we can segment the market. So here we have lifestyle. It takes into account the different dimensions of consumers, such as their activities, interests, opinions, and their spendings. For example, Titan watches, right? So you can take a high-end Titan watch that can cost you 25,000 rupees, or you can take a very low-end Titan watch that can cost you 1,500 rupees. So lifestyle means this kind of accessories that you carry with you defines your lifestyle. Okay, so if you are wearing a gold watch that is costing 25,000 rupees, 30,000 rupees, right, or 50,000 rupees, that shows your lifestyle. For example, cafe coffee day, right? You can have a coffee in your office canteen that will cost you hardly 20 or 30 rupees, or maybe na chai ki thadi, that can also cost you somewhere around 10 to 15 rupees. But if you're going to a CCD, that means you want to show somebody that you belong to the premium class of a society, because there you have to pay minimum 100 rupees for a cup of coffee, right? The same cup of coffee can cost you 15 rupees if you are going to a very small office canteen or things like that. So lifestyle is very important variable in psychographic segmentation. This depends on how do you think. You may have money and you are not spending it, is again a lifestyle, right? For example, you have crores of money in your bank account and you are driving a simple Maruti car. So that is again a lifestyle, right? You don't think that you should spend money on these lifestyle enhancing things. For example, you will have a old type of washing machine at your home. You will have a very small home, very simple living. So that is again a simple lifestyle concept. But if you have crores of money in your account and you are using Audi or BMW or Ferrari, things like that, then that means you believe in enjoying life. You believe in taking those luxuries in your life which you can afford. So this is again a lifestyle, right? Then we have perception and personality, which are again type of psychographic segmentation. So let us understand them one by one. For example, when we talk about personality, we have some people who are extroverts, we have some people who are novelty seekers, we have some people who are aggressive and innovators. And when we talk about perception, we have low risk, moderate risk, and high risk people, right? So if you are a low risk individual, right, you do not want to take risk in your life. You always want to play safe in your life. So how do you do that? Maybe you will always invest in a fixed deposit. You will never choose a mutual fund or share market for investment. You will never open a demat account if you are a low risk taker. If you are a moderate risk taker, yes, you will invest in mutual funds, but you will not involve in any kind of direct dealing in share market. If you are a high risk individual, then you can have a demat account and then you can have a trading in share market because you believe in high risk, high advantage. So perception can be different, and on the basis of your perception, the choice of your product can be different, right? When I talk about personality, we have extroverts, we have introverts, we have novelty seeker, we have aggressive people, and we have innovators also. So who are the people who are extrovert? They would like to go out, and these are the people who like to party, and they like to make many friends. So like the kind of products that these extroverts will be using will be a lot of social media platforms, and mm, they will have account on Facebook or Instagram and whatnot, right? So they are called as extroverts. Novelty seekers means they are the people who are always looking for some new kind of things. So when I say new kind of things, that means they are looking for uh, maybe novelty in a product. If an improved version of a product has come, they will prefer that product instead of a older version of a product, right? So they are the people who are novelty seeker, who want something new in a product. They get bored very easily. When we talk about aggressive innovators means these are the people who necessarily, mandatorily want a new product. They cannot go with the same product every season, every time, right? So these are called as aggressive innovators. The next is called as behavioral segmentation. So after understanding the psychographic segmentation, we have to understand what is called as behavioral segmentation. Okay, so it is also called as buyer behavior segmentation. Market can be segmented on the basis of behavior of buyers like benefit sought and product usage rate and brand loyalty and buyer's readiness, status for the product, volume of purchase, purchase occasion, buyer attitude towards the product, etc. So let us understand these concepts one by one. Whenever we are segmenting the product on the basis of behavior, it becomes very important to understand the behavior of the customer so that we can segment the market. So when we talk about benefit sort, we are talking about the benefit which is expected by the customer, right? So, for example, natural or herbal, beauty care products. For example, you will be ready to pay some extra amount of money if you think that the benefit is greater than the cost. For example, if you have heard of Kama Ayurveda, if you have heard of Body Herbals, if you have heard of Patanjali, these are all brands whose main USP is, uh, you know, herbal products. They are good for your skin. No chemicals are being used. So the customers who are basically benefits or they are looking for a kind of product where they are getting some kind of benefit. Let's say herbal product. So that means it is not going to do any kind of damage to my skin. Next is product usage rate. The market is divided into currently users and currently non-users. See, when I talk about product usage rate means there are some people who regularly use a particular product. There are some users who use a product not very consistently, right? They use a product sometimes. For example, when we talk about restaurant, there are some people who like to go to a restaurant every weekend or maybe the every second day, like bachelors and people who do not have family with them. But certain families they like to go to restaurant in certain occasions also. Otherwise, they like home cooked food. So that is product usage rate. Some people are using it every weekend. They are going every other day, and some people are using it like you know intermittently, like after some point of time they are using it. Now, when I talk about volume, volume means quantities of purchase. Quantities of purchase means you know there for example there are some people who go to a market and take a handful. For example, if you want one packet you will take five packets, right? Because you like to take products in quantities. You go to instead of going to a grocery store, you will go to a big bazaar and you will end up spending more than 500 rupees, but you already want a product of 100 rupees, right? So these kind of uh, this kind of qualities come in volume. For example, you want two packets of something and you are only buying one small packet of that particular product. So you are using less quality of volumes, right? So there are different kind of people on the basis of their behavior, right? I want this also, I want that also, I want that also. If you are that kind of a person, you are a high volume consumer customer. If you are very focused to the point, you're going to big bazaar not taking anything, only taking the salt packet that you are wanting is uh, is going below the mark in your pantry, you will only take salt, right? So you are a low volume consumer customer. So for the customers who want high quantities of a particular product, we push their that behavior by giving them certain kind of benefits like discount schemes, or you go to malls during Diwalis or during New Year's or during end of sale season, they will push you towards greater shopping. For example, they will give you a free dinner set with a shopping of 5,000 rupees, right? Or for example, you only have to take a small dress for yourself that can cost you 2,000 rupees. But because you are a high volume consumer customer, you will take two more dresses that will cost you 6,000 rupees only to get that dinner set, which will cost you hardly 350 rupees. So you have end up spending 4,000 rupees more as compared you were earlier only spending 2,000 rupees, right? So these are called as benefit sought consumer. Then you have attitude. It is a learned tendency to respond towards a product range from enthusiastic, positive, indifferent, and negative, hostile. So there are some people who are positive towards a product, even if you do not like the product much, you are positive about it. But if you like a product, right? You like a product, and uh, then also you are very expressive about it. But there are some people you like the product and you are not saying anything positive about that product. So those are the people having negative attitude or hostile attitude towards the product. You like the product but still do not want to say anything positive about that product. Next is occasions. So you know, different kind of customers try to take products at different kind of seasons, right? By this I mean that, for example, you are taking, some people they are waiting for Diwali all year long and they are doing all kind of savings um, up to Diwali, and they want to buy all the products on Diwali, right? So these are the customers who are occasion sought. They only do a lot of expenditure in Diwali, and in the rest of the days they are not spending anything except groceries. So we have customers who are occasion sought also. Then we have brand loyalty. Brand loyalty means you will go to a extra mile to get a particular product. For example, the example is given Johnson. For example, a mother is very mothers are generally are possessed for their children, especially when uh, the children are at their young age. So if a mother thinks that Johnson's is a product which is a trusted product and it is good for my baby, so a mother will go an extra mile to take a Johnson product, even if it is not available in the nearby grocery store, right? So that's how it is important. Brand loyalty is important. The next point that we are going to understand is benefits of market segmentation. That means what are the benefits that we are going to get if we are going to segment the market. The first is it helps to distinguish one customer group from another within a given market. So if you want to channelize your marketing activities, if you want to give direction to the marketing activities, then segmentation is very important. Okay, because through segmentation uh, you can give a particular kind of direction to a customer, right? It facilitates proper choice of target market. So a proper choice of target market is given to the customers. It facilitates effective tapping of the market also, because you are able to tap the market sometimes when it is not untapped. There are some parts of the niches of the market which are untapped. So when you segment the market, you can tap the untapped market. It helps to divide the market and conquer them. So whenever you divide the market, you know that this is my segment. When you know that this is my segment, you can easily master that segment, because you know the customers, that these are my customers. And when you know everything about your customers, it becomes easy to promote your product or make promotional activities for that particular product. It makes the market effort more effectively and efficiently. So it improves your marketing efforts also when you segment a particular market. Next is target marketing. So we have completed the segmentation part. In the segmentation part, we have studied that what is the meaning of segmentation, that is converting a heterogeneous market into homogeneous market is called as segmentation. Whatever market you have, you can divide that market on a particular basis. We have studied the basis of segmentation also. We have studied that we can divide the market on the basis of demographic, geographic, psychographic, and behavioral segmentation, right? And we have seen certain examples of these kind of segmentations also. Now we are going to understand what is target marketing, which is the second part of the STP strategy. Now, in target marketing, a target market is a set of buyers sharing common needs and characteristics that the marketing firm decides to serve. Deciding which segment will be selected as a target market. So, let's go to the earlier slide. I hope this slide is visible to you. I have come back to this slide to make you understand what is targeting. We have understood segmenting, that is segmenting the market into different subparts. Now we are coming to targeting. You have to choose a segment which is made for your customers, right? You have to choose a segment. For example, if you're segmenting on the basis of age, so what age of customers you are interested in? For example, this is youngsters. Youngsters means the people who are from 18 years to 30 years, they are youngsters, 28 years. So if you are specifically creating a product for them, they are youngsters. So they are your target market. For example, if you are, target segmenting the product on the basis of their profession, and if you are specifically making a product for accountants, you are making uh, a software for accounts. So you are specifically targeting the accountants. So you are segmenting the market on the basis of profession. You have segmented, and now you are specifically targeting the accountants, right? So I've given you two examples to make you understand what is targeting. Now let's come back to that slide again. So a target market is a set of buyers sharing common needs and characteristics that the marketing firm decides to serve. Deciding which segment will be selected as a target market. Ramaswamy and Namakumari opine that through segmentation, a firm divides the market into many segments, but all the segments need not form its target market. So you can select two segments at a time, three segments at a time, but it is important to make this precise and make it focused so that you can understand that what is your focus area. Okay, now target marketing involves three activities. What are these activities? Market segmentation, market targeting, and market positioning. We know what all these means, right? STP is a strategy which is segmentation, targeting, and positioning. What is segmentation again? It is a process of taking the total heterogeneous market for a product and dividing it into sub-markets or segments, and each of which tends to be homogeneous. Targeting means choosing one target market. A firm basically carries out an evaluation of the various segments and select those segments that it wants to adopt to its market. And positioning is the next dimension of marketing strategy, which indicates the place the brand or product occupies in the given market. Positioning is not what you do it for a product, it is what you do for the mind of the prospect. Very important. Positioning is the act of designing the company's offering and image to occupy a distinctive place in the mind of target customers. So I think that's it for today. Today we have completed market segmentation and market targeting. Now from in the next class we will be covering market position, right? And so today we have got an idea of what is what is market segmentation, what is market targeting, and what is marketing positioning. And most importantly, today we have covered what are the segmentation techniques, what are the basis of segmentations. We have seen various examples around us also. So I'm giving you a small assignment that we have studied psychographic segmentation, right? So what you have to do is you have to find out each example, take the photos or the promotional activities that are done. For example, I've given you example of Titan watch, right? Let me take you there so that you can understand. Yes. So these are psychographic segmentation. So you have to give an example on lifestyle. For example, lifestyle is the first variable. I have given you example of CCD and Titan. You have to give me two more examples, with photos and with explanation. And you have to make a slide so that you can also understand that how can we divide the product on the basis of psychographic segmentation. Okay. So that's it for today. I am ending the meeting now. Thank you so much for joining.